Baseball is back, and both Wager Talk and Sports Memo have an amazing offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered from Thursday, April 7th, when 18 of the 30 MLB teams take part in opening day, to Thursday, August 4th, when the NFL Hall of Fame game kicks off in Canton, Ohio for less than $5 per day. To lock in your favorite Wager Talk expert through the start of NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000. But for a limited time, pay only $5.49, coming out to just $4.61 per day. This will include any plays released for MLB from opening day to August 4th, rest of the NBA and NHL regular seasons, entire playoffs and championship games, golf, UFC, soccer, and more. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you sign up, the more free days you'll get. This will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast as our first pitch to kickoff promotion ends on opening day. So lock in your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of football season for the lowest price possible.
Booyah! Welcome everybody to Wager Talk Today. It is April 5th. College basketball is behind us. What an ending. What a fun game. I hope you guys cashed a lot of tickets. I'm Lawrence Presman, and Rob Vino is joining us as my co-host today. Rob, come on in, brother. I really, really appreciate you joining us, man. Teddy's taking a couple of days off. And until he's back, I'm going to try to have a different co-host each day. How you been, man?
I'm good, President. What a pleasure, may I say that, to sit in the co-host chair for Teddy and with you today. As you mentioned, college basketball over. Terrific final last night. KU with the big comeback gets themselves the win, but not cover. So if you're on UNC, you cashed a ticket there. Certainly a bunch of subplots within the game. But again, we can put that behind us now and look forward to NBA final 3 games of the season heading into playoffs, Major League Baseball a couple days from now. So it seems like it never slows down, Prez. As soon as something ends, there's 2-3 more things where the door's wide open that we have to go after.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, it's a great time to be a bettor right now. You've got NBA winding down, getting ready for the playoffs. NHL only an average of about 12 games left before the playoffs. Baseball, I mean, spring hope springs eternal. A lot of people excited about their teams and the bets that they're going to be making, and the Masters, which I'm super pumped about. Rob, you bet any golf?
Only on recommendations from guys who are colleagues of ours. Prez, our golf experts, sometimes will, lend me a little expertise, and I'll go ahead and give it a whirl. But I don't know anything about it. To be honest, I really don't watch unless it's, let's say, the 15th hole in a real tight race on Sunday afternoon. Then maybe I sit there and watch the last 4 holes. But for me, just not something I get involved with. I don't even know what happened with Tiger Woods, whether he's in or out here of this tournament today. I know that was a big subject topic.
Well, that's a perfect segue, because one guy who knows golf, a very close friend of mine, I'm just not a close friend of his, Andy Lang. Andy, you're the $2 Tuesday handicapper today. So we brought you back on. We're going to talk some player props. We also have Andrew McInnis coming up, and of course Dave Sharapan. But Andy, let's start with golf right off the bat. What have you heard? What is the latest on the Tiger?
The latest on the Tiger is that he is trending in the direction of playing. He had a quote earlier today that said, "I feel like I'm going to play." I still am skeptical as to how good he's going to do. There's a big difference between hitting the ball off the range and walking a course, but we will know a little bit more later today. And myself and Nick Borman are recording Tea Time from Vegas this evening. We'll release that tomorrow morning. So you can check that out on the Wager Talk YouTube channel and get all of the last bits of information. One thing that we're waiting on right now is tee times. And this is important because weather is going to be a factor. It's going to be cold and chilly. And it looks like the guys that tee off Thursday morning might have an advantage based on what the wind is going to do. So, but we're going to we'll go over that tonight. We're just waiting and holding out a little bit. But Tiger looks like it's going to play. We know it's going to be a little bit chilly. We know that wind is going to be a factor, which means it's going to be an awesome Masters. So excited.
Yeah. Andy Lang, everyone. Andy, yesterday in your big game breakdown, you gave out Cameron Smith. He's plus 1,600 at the book I'm currently looking at. I got to tell you, man, I'm throwing, and I don't mean to be a homer here, but Corey Connors, 2 top 10s in the last 2 years. He's playing outstanding. He's plus 5,000. I got to think there's some value on that bet.
The only reason why it's not quite a play on is I believe it's like the last 8 or 9 winners have been 30-1 or less. And this is a big favorite tournament. You don't see a lot of long shots. And the other thing is Corey Connors doesn't have a win this year. He's got good course history, but you're playing against the best in the world. And traditionally guys that have closed out big tournaments before get the win. So he's going to now Prez, if you want to bet on him, look at top 20 finishes, top 30 finishes to make the cut, head-to-head bets. This is the beautiful thing about golf and about the Masters is if you really like somebody, there's a lot of ways to bet on him. You don't just have to take him outright. Corey Connors is going to cash a lot of bets this week. He is on my card. So don't just look at the outrights. Explore a little bit and find the best value for him.
There you go. Andy Lang, a WagerTalk.com exclusive to us, the $2 Tuesday handicapper. Andy, you've got a 5% play up, an NBA prop. You've only had 15 of these NBA 5% props ever. You're 60% in them. More importantly, you're on a 20-6 run in NBA prop bets. Guys, head over to WagerTalk.com. It's $2 to buy Andy Lang's NBA 5% play. And he knows his prop bets. Let's get into it, man. Pope, the Pope. You got a prop bet on us, for us on him.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success as the season winds down with player props. There's a lot of really specific situations that you can play over and over and over again. I know Rob has been doing this. We've talked off air about a lot of them. So Rob can speak to some of these like big game trends and totals and spreads, but we'll talk about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope over 16.5 points. This is a great one. This should make your card. He's been given the green light to close out the year to shoot the ball a lot. And right now with Washington, it's basically him and Porzingis doing all the scoring. They really don't have a whole lot of contributions coming from anywhere else. He's gone over this total in 5 straight games. The last game, they got clobbered. They lost by 42. He had a bad shooting night, and he still scored 17 points. He still went over this total. And that game was against the Celtics. That's one of the better defensive teams in the league. Tonight, he gets to play the Timberwolves, who are 7th worst defensive rated team in the league. Last 4 opponents have scored 125 or more. And on the season, they give up 22.8 points a game to shooting guards. This game should be a score fest. There should be a ton of points. And this is Caldwell-Pope, who is padding his stats to end the year, which is a great situation for over. So give me Pope over 16.5 points.
Yeah, and real quick here, Andy, let's move to your second prop, which is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets here tonight. Looks like points, rebounds, and assists prop. The guy has been going over these numbers like crazy in his last 6. So go ahead and fill us into how you're going to play this one.
MVP push, anyone? MVP push, anyone? I mean, this is just a pure unadulterated pad the stat sheet. We're going for MVP. He's gone over this total huge in 5 straight games. His PRA totals in those games were 55, 56, and 59. Then he goes for 65 PRA against Minnesota and 62 against the Lakers. And who does he get tonight? The Spurs. They are the 7th worst team guarding centers. He's played them twice in December. He put up 45 in one game and then 60 in the other. This is a gigantic number, but you cannot argue with the stats that he's putting up. He scored 37, 38, and 38 his last 3 games, and he's had 18 and 19 rebounds. Like, he's almost getting over this number with just his points and his rebounds. And you got to believe if he's pushed this hard for the MVP, he's going to keep pushing even harder. He's had a day's rest, so I don't worry about him being fatigued. He should go off tonight against the Spurs in hopes to lock down that MVP. So take him over 50.5.
Yeah, and I've been watching some props as of the last 3 weeks or so as well, Andy. I haven't been a prop guy where NBA is concerned, but there seem to be some openings there. So I've been looking. Jokic is a guy who I've noticed to be around 47.5, 48.5 today. He's up to 50.5. So obviously the bookmakers are making that push. It certainly doesn't seem to scare you. Again, here tonight against the Spurs, a team with Jakob Poeltl in the middle, it would seem as if it's a no-brainer. And the thing with Jokic is that you get those assists as well with him. But real quick here, for the remainder of the season, is he just somebody you're going to blindly play PRA up and over, figuring this is an MVP push with all the recent talk within the last 7 days about Giannis, right? Giannis is a guy who was really off the MVP radar, but it seems like the media is making a push for him. So is this a guy you're going to focus on the rest of the way out?
Absolutely. And the other nice thing that we get is you look at the standings and they're half game up on the Jazz. So this isn't a team that's locked into their spot. So they would like these wins. So I don't see them resting. And it's just throwing Jokic a really good solid to reward him for how good he's been. I mean, he has held this team together without Murray this year, without Porter this year, and they're holding on to the 5th seed pretty strong. So I got to believe the team is going to feed him as many stats as they possibly can. Huge bragging rights for him and for the organization, especially in a year where it's so close. You mentioned Giannis and Joel Embiid. I mean, this is a real – whoever wins has big-time bragging rights. They absolutely earned it. So I see Denver keep feeding him the ball, and I see him keep cashing these overs.
Andy Lang, everybody. Andy, man, thanks for co-hosting yesterday with me. You did a great job for being our guest today. Guys, please remember Andy Lang is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk. He's on a 20-6 NBA prop run. He's got a 5% play up. That's the highest rated play that any of the handicappers do at WagerTalk. We do not allow 8-10% plays. They're all 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is Andy's strongest play in a while, and it's only $2 at wagertalk.com. Anything else, buddy?
Masters week, Formula One week, NASCAR week. It's basically one of the better weeks of the year for me. So a 7-day pass would be great, but more importantly, let's just cash tonight, right?
Yeah, that's the priority. Andy Lang, everyone. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We got Rob Vino's big game breakdown coming up. We got Andrew McInnis. We're going to talk some hockey. And, of course, Dave Sharapan. And we're going to get into a lot of gambling talk with Dave. We'll be right back, everyone. 30 seconds.
Baseball is back, and both Wager Talk and Sports Memo have an amazing offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered from Thursday, April 7th, when 18 of the 30 MLB teams take part in opening day, to Thursday, August 4th, when the NFL Hall of Fame game kicks off in Canton, Ohio for less than $5 per day. To lock in your favorite Wager Talk expert through the start of NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000. Before limited time, pay only $5.49, coming out to just $4.61 per day. This will include any plays released for MLB from opening day to August 4th, rest of the NBA and NHL regular seasons, entire playoffs and championship games, golf, UFC, soccer, and more. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you sign up, the more free days you'll get. This will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast as our first pitch to kickoff promotion ends on opening day, so lock in your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of football season for the lowest price possible.
Hey, here we go with today's big game breakdown. I'll give it my best in place of my good buddy Teddy covers. I took this one to heart, as the title suggests, big game breakdown. So I searched the NBA card today for what I figured to be the biggest game. There's a few of them, but we're going to choose Charlotte at Miami here in this one. Current line, I think we see 5.5. Miami at home as a favorite, and 226.5, maybe some 227s out there for the total. Going to look to play the Miami side here, minus the 5.5. A win here tonight for the Heat gives them the number one seed in the Eastern Conference with 2 games left and 30 in the loss column. They could not be passed record-wise by anybody, and in the event of ties, they own the tiebreaker over all of their challengers. They own the tiebreaker over Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. So Miami clinches overall home floor advantage if they win this game tonight. They are 3-0 so far this year against the Charlotte Hornets in their season series. Miami's won these games by 15, by 18, and by 4 in double overtime. In all 3, Miami's been able to hold Charlotte to 40% or less field goal percentage from the floor. So been real good defensive efforts by Miami. Again, if you go through those box scores, you'll find some scattered assortment of players missing for either side. But in the game where both sides were healthy, Miami did win that one by 18. Current form of the Heat, I think we remember the blow-up on the bench about a week and a half ago. Some might have thought Miami was going to cave at that point, but quite the opposite. They're now 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against the spread inside their last 4. In their last 3 games especially, those games against Boston, Chicago, and Toronto, all 3 Eastern Conference playoff teams, the defense has shown up for Miami. Held all 3 to 43% or less from the field, 31% or less from the floor. I think the most important statistic from those 3 games to show the dominance Miami's had, plus 9.7% field goal margin, plus 10.7 field goal percent margin, plus 6.9 field goal percent margin. Those are big numbers. Miami's not only playing good defensively, but real well offensively. And they're shooting the threes. I mean, this is a team that's got multiple three-point shooters, but 67 three-pointers in their last 4 games. That's 17 per game. Red hot right now. If you have any concerns about the Miami side, I think the biggest one would be the questionable status of Kyle Lowry as we speak. If Kyle Lowry can't go, Gabe Vincent, his backup point guard, doesn't go either. It puts Miami in a bit of a bind. But I'll say this. If you take a look at the schedule, the NBA rested as a league yesterday, so Lowry had the days off worth of rest after he played a game. And after this one, Miami's got the next 2 days off. My inclination is the Miami players play. Jimmy Butler's in this game as well. And then once they clinch, they rest their players. I think the season's dominance has something to say about this. I think Miami's recent or current form has something to say about this. I'll lay 5.5 with the Miami Heat for today's big game breakdown.
Rob Vino, awesome stuff, brother. What's that? Yeah, I didn't pay any attention. I'm just laying that out there right now. I mean, Miami, Charlotte. That was what you were talking about.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring on some hockey,
so
Prez. You'll pay attention.
Okay, I'm just trying to talk to Dan there. Okay, guys, real quick. Robert Mead has a question. I want to talk about it. It's actually a great question because I go through it on a regular basis. You're with a sports book, and they send you a free $10 bet, Rob. I get them every week. I mean, mine isn't $10, but you get commiserate to what you're betting. He wants to know how he should use that free $10 bet. And Rob Vino, I'm curious from your perspective. I always take a massive, massive dog with that bet. So now, given it's the Masters weekend, if I get a free bet, I will likely take a plus 1,600, plus 2,000 dog with my free bet. I see no reason to use those free bets any other way. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, Prez, all those free bets that I get are piled up in a safe somewhere. I never use those things. I just let them, you have a free bet. Okay, great. Let's get on to my real bet. I think maybe your advice is really, really good. Maybe as a future, If you like something future that's a long shot as well, go ahead and play that. NFL, NBA, MLB. But,
Yeah.
in my case,
Yeah.
I rarely use them, but I think that's the best advice. Just they're flyers, so use them as flyers and take something with long odds
Exactly.
attached to it.
Exactly. Before we bring Andrew McInnis in, I just want to make mention we've already spoken about the fact that it is $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk. We have an offer every Tuesday at Sports Memo where you can get 3 handicappers for $5. Today, for $5, you get Teddy Covers. He's got a 19-1 angle winner. You get Joe D'Amico. He's got a 5% NBA Eastern Conference play. And man, I spoke to Joe on the phone yesterday. Joe makes me look like I have low energy, Rob. Like
No,
when
it's
I'm
true.
around Joe D'Amico, I feel like I'm the guy in the coma here. If Joe and I did a show together, the show would explode. And John Ryan as well, and he's got an NBA play. So you get Teddy, Joe, and John all for $5 over at Sports Memo. Please take advantage of that. Any other questions in the chat room? You put them up, guys. If I like the question and want to talk about it, I will answer it. Andrew freaking McInnis. You know, I'm mad at you, Andrew. Flat out mad at you. You want me to tell you why? I'll tell you why.
I think I know why.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. So I could not have started the NHL season any worse. I was down at one point about 75% of my bankroll, which is like disgusting, like a complete embarrassing disgrace. I am now down only 3% of my bankroll. Since December 4th, I have made a monster comeback. I've won 8 games in a row. You're at 12? Like, really?
Had to do you like that, Prez. I had to do it to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Way to
I
go,
don't
Andy.
like being in the shadow of a child. I don't feel good about it, Andrew. It doesn't work for me. Every time I do something great, you do something better. Anyway, what a freaking run you're on, dude. And honest to God, Rob, I don't know if you've been following this, but Andrew has been on fire since what, October in NHL?
Pretty much, yeah. October was horrible, as I've talked about a lot. And then since mid-November, November 15th, it's been an unbelievable run, and just it's been the volume, Prez. I talked about it last time I was on with you on WagerTalk Today, and I'll talk about it again. During this run right now, it's been one play a day, isolating that favorite play I have. Whether it's hours of research or whether that's the one that one sticks out, whether it's one of those two things, that's what's really been the thing for me. And 12-0 NHL run, 15-0 all sports run, so going for 16 straight all sports winners as well.
XCal asked how my shawarma was yesterday. XCal, it was freaking spectacular. I had extra hot sauce on it. Absolutely loved it. Carmine Bianco is in the chat room right now saying that Andrew is greater than the Prez. Okay, I'm good with that, man. I mean, Jesus, facts are facts. Andrew is over 100% ROI on the year in NHL. I'm at -3. So, yes, Andrew is.
Huge comeback,
but
though,
we got a
Prez.
long
You're
way to
gonna
go,
crush the
Andrew,
playoffs,
and I'm coming.
Yep. All right.
Okay, brother, let's get into it. Senators, Canadians tonight. Right off the bat, when when bad teams play against each other in the back quarter of the season, I'm looking to bet over the total. Flat out, that's where I'm going in this game. I'd love to hear your take.
Well, I feel like I don't even need to have a take anymore. That was my take. I mean, I'm on the over in this game. We're both
I
in
didn't know
agreement.
that.
Yeah, we both like the over here. Look, of course, it's April hockey, right? And there's two different types of teams. There's the teams that are eliminated and are playing for a paycheck and exercise, and the teams that are playing for a playoff position or a different spot or matchup in the playoffs. Both these teams fall under that first category I discussed. However, I believe that both these teams also have motivated players. They're not teams I'm looking to just fade. There's going to be some upsets both these teams will make, but I would just rather look towards goals. I don't trust either of these teams defensively. Both of them have way too many guys jumping into the rush. They get caught up way too far in the attacking zone, and the goaltending has been rather weak from both. But youth is really important to me when I look at April. Excuse me, when I look at April, and especially betting totals. And there's just so many young guys on both clubs, and you take a look at the top 6 for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, average age is younger than me on that team in that top 6, and right now with the Montreal Canadiens with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki and the way that those guys have stepped up under Martin St. Louis, everything tells me that they're going to continue to do that and score. But Prez, just like you mentioned, the defensive capability of both these teams is you just cannot pick an under with them. And also the amount of penalties they take, very undisciplined. The Senators and the Montreal Canadiens, every single game, they're taking, horrible penalties, hooking, slashing, trippings at very costly times. And if that's the case tonight, we'll also see plenty of power plays, which will hopefully lead to power play goals and help get us over 6 here.
Rob Vino.
Andrew, let's move on to the next game, buddy. And, those who follow me know that my NHL knowledge is non-existent. So I'm listening close to you here. But here we know that you want to talk about the Minnesota Wild and the Nashville Predators game. I do know a little bit about the Nashville Predators. I actually was in that arena, Bridgestone, one time. My son went to school there. So that's my extent of help to this conversation. But go ahead and tell us how you're going to play the Minnesota-Nashville game tonight.
Well, that's exciting, Rob. I've heard it's a really exciting arena and one of the better ones in the league. So I'd love to get there someday. But when I look at this game, it's one of those situations, Rob, where, if you really are a situational handicapper, which I would describe myself as, the spot kind of screams Nashville. But this is a spot where I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore what I see there. And I'm going to ride the hot team with the Minnesota Wild being 9-1 their last 10 games. They now have Marc-Andre Fleury, who's taken over as an outstanding goalie with them. He hasn't lost a start yet. Talbot's playing pretty well too. The Nashville Predators have been a very up and down team this year. They're currently locked in for a playoff spot. But one thing that's kind of thrown me off a little bit has been their inconsistent defensive ability. One game they give up 1 goal. The next game they'll go out and give up 4 or 5 goals, and their defense just looks confused out there and lost. And, I just talked about youth on the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. Well, the Nashville Predators don't have that as much. They're actually built on a lot of older players. And when they match up against teams like Minnesota that play a such fast style of hockey, I just don't think it's a good matchup here. And you take a look at Nashville prior to this break they haven't played since last Friday, guys. Prior to that break, they played against Buffalo, Ottawa, and Philadelphia. I mean, even though they won 2 out of those 3, those are against 3 of the worst teams in the league. It's nothing really to be too proud of. So it's 3 and 4 nights here for the Wild tonight. Not a great scheduling spot, but Nashville also hasn't played since last Friday. I'm not sure that's a great thing for them either. Going up against a fast team like this and you haven't played in several days. So it's a near pick on price here. I'm riding the hot team tonight. I like the Wild to win.
Yeah, Andrew, listen, I mean, it makes sense, but I think ultimately what you said at the beginning is really what I agree with, and that is the spot is wrong for Minnesota. You've got Nashville in a huge playoff race right now. They have won 2 of their last 3, but they are coming off of a terrible loss against Buffalo. It's just not the right spot for me to play Minnesota, but it's hard to disagree with your reasoning. I look at the over in this game. The problem I'm having, I mean, Nashville has gone over 8 of their last 10 games. This team is an over team to the core. Minnesota, however, it's just 8 out of their last 9 games to the under. But when you go deep into those numbers, you're realizing it's Minnesota's defense that is keeping this game under. Washington put up 1. Carolina put up 1. Philadelphia put up 1. Colorado put up 2. Columbus put up 2. Vancouver put up 2. Vegas put up 0. The Minnesota defense is outstanding. However, we know Nashville's putting 2 in tonight. Nashville scores. Nobody's keeping this team off the scoreboard. I like the over in this game. Any thoughts really quick?
Yeah, I share the exact same thoughts as you, Prez, and this is definitely one of those games to use the WagerTalk live odds feed, because if you like the under, there's 6.5s out there. If you like the over, there are a bunch of 6s there as well. So I'm with you, and especially with it being a 3-4 nights for the Wild, they could give up a couple goals early on potentially in the game. But I do trust their firepower. They do have like 3 lines now that can score. Lots of talented players out there. But I agree. If I'm not playing the side, I think the over is the way to go here, guys.
Andrew McInnis, everyone. And Andrew, you have a 5% play up tonight for your clients. Guys, again, I mentioned this at the top of the show. These 5% plays are rare. We do not put them out a lot. Andrew, you've won what, 100 of them in a row? No.
Number one last 365 days. So large sample with that, with 5% plays of the whole website. Number one in profit, all sports 2022, and going for 13 straight hockey tonight, guys. So join me today. Or grab that really great promo. The first pitch to kickoff is one of the best promos I've seen here at WagerTalk. It's an unbelievable deal. I believe you're saving close to $500. I believe the promo itself is like $5 a day. And you're getting every single sport, of course, with baseball starting on Thursday. So with the run I'm on right now, people keep on asking me, hey, is your play up? Is your play up? Buy a long-term package and join me for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and $5 a day, less than a Frappo Capo Schmappuccino at Starbucks. Awesome stuff. Andrew McInnis, everyone. Rob, really enjoying doing this show with you today, dude. But I got to tell you, man, firstly, we need 30 more likes for the daily presidential address. And I got 3 NHL plays to give out in that daily presidential address. Oh, we now need 29 more likes. But you know who's going to get us those likes, baby? Dave freaking Sharapan. Dave, I'm going to start right off the bat. Right off the bat. No hello, no nothing. You're wearing old Pittsburgh. They're playing Colorado tonight. I had Colorado in regulation a few days ago. They beat Pittsburgh. That ending of that game was unbelievable. One of our clients, I think Jeffrey Moore, wanted to know what about the over in this matchup. Do you have any opinion right off the bat? Because this is a juicy game.
First of all, glad to see both of you. Glad to see Vino's here, so there's no drama when Teddy's not here. That's very important. We don't want any drama on Flex Tuesday. Somebody hit the like button, please, because if the Prez doesn't get to talk for this thing, he's going to be upset in the rest of the day, and that Sharma sandwich.
We're there, dude. We got 103 likes. Let's get into it, man.
Bam, let's go. Push the button.
Pittsburgh, Colorado. You're wearing the shirt. Who's going to win?
The total in the game is going to probably go under. Expect another game similar to the game we saw. And, I mean, it usually happens, right? When you see that 3-2 game in one place, they come back and do the 3-2 game in the other place. It's kind of what I'm expecting. But, man, I mean, the Penguins are right there. They just can't get, over, So, I mean, they're favored. That line's probably going to come back the other way. Colorado may go off the favorite, but, I mean, that's kind of a heart pick. And, this is probably one of the best hockey jerseys in the history of hockey. So I had to wear it today for the show.
How? It
the
literally
Maple
just
Leafs
says
up there
Pittsburgh
too.
Down. It just says Pittsburgh down the side.
The diagonal
I don't want to get
Pittsburgh.
into it, dude. Listen, there are no Penguins in Pittsburgh. I don't even understand the bloody name. And they are the luckiest franchise in history of the world. Anyway, I see no reason to bet that game whatsoever.
No.
There's just too much other juicy stuff on the board. Dave, here's how this segment is going to work. We're going to talk baseball futures. Then we're going to talk NBA, and then we're going back to the NHL card. So let's start right off the bat with baseball futures. What are you hearing out there as far as over and under team win-loss, as far as potential Super World Series bets? What kind of information can you give us that you're seeing out there for us to bet?
Holy crap. That's almost like following a rundown. I'm really impressed with you without Theodore here. you just laid it out pretty good. I'm thoroughly impressed. MLB futures. Let's see. Let's start in the AL East. Your Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of steam coming on them. A lot of people in the know, in the not know, think that Toronto is going to win that division and challenge for the World Series. The Yankees under. Apparently that's going to be a play, or already has been a play. I don't know. They do that every year. They always bet against the New York teams, them and the Mets, rightly so. The Mets are the Mets. I mean, DeGrom's already hurt. Scherzer's got a twinge in his hamstring. That number dropped from 91.5 to 88.5 immediately on that news. So that one's under. The rest of the AL East is tough. Let's go to the AL Central. Detroit Tigers, very popular choice amongst the people who look at the analytics and think the team's going to come back. So not to kiss Johnny Detroit's ass or tell him, but this might be the year the Tigers actually go over 500. So a lot of people that I respect telling me, watch the Tigers team. You're going to get a lot of pluses on them when they should probably be favorites during the season. Team's going to be good. The AL West is Seattle. That's the team that everyone's kind of like under the radar. They're talking about Seattle being like an over team. I don't know if I agree with that one, but the books are moving the number up and taking the bets, and see where that one goes. The rest of that division, I mean, the Astros numbers are really high. I think it's 93.5, 94.5. The Angels are the interesting team to me because do they have the pitching to go with the lineup, and can the lineup stay healthy? That's been the question now for years. Just want to see Trout play a lot of games and maybe play in the playoffs, but Ohtani may get him there, maybe not. Then let's go National League. We got NL Central. It's Brewers and Cardinals and everybody else. My Pirates win total 64.5. Apparently, I'm the only one that thinks they even have a chance of winning 60 games. That's a big underplay. The Brewers have been getting good two-way action, 89.5, 90.5, bouncing back and forth. I personally like the Cardinals to go over. I think they got a great lineup. They got a guy, Tyler O'Neill, who's maybe worth a shot winning the home run title at a big number, 50 to 1-ish. The NL West is the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. I got Morency every day on SportsGrid telling me it's the Dodgers going to win 108 games. The total's 99.5. So I don't know. Those are all the totals we're looking at. And then those postseason awards and stuff, I don't like to look at that stuff yet. There's a lot of people like to touch those markets. It's not for me.
Dave, let me ask you real quick. First of all, let me ask you this. You got the Penguins gear on today, but by chance, in your collection, do you have the light blue throwback, the mid-70s Penguin colors?
Of course I do, Vino. Are you kidding me? That was my original team. That was my first uniform ever. When I was 4 years old, I started playing hockey, and I had the baby blue. Fell in love with the team and the game then. So when they went back to those, like for the outdoor classics and stuff, I had to pick up a more modern one that actually fit, because that one when I wore when I was 4, I still got the pictures, but that stuff don't fit no more. So yes, sir, I do have that stuff.
Right.
Dave, every week you come on, you're wearing team colors. I have never seen you ever in a Canadian team color.
I got an Edmonton jersey that I wore last week.
Never worn it on this show.
Well, I will change that, Prez. Listen, I might have to go get the Maple Leafs jersey.
Leafs and Blue Jays. Speaking
I
about
wear
the Blue Jays
stuff
Dave,
all the time. I got the Blue Jay
not
fit
on this
from
show.
top to bottom. Come on.
Not on this show. Dave,
I
gotta ask
apologize
you
for
about-
getting us off on this off the rails, Dave. I apologize.
I don't mind.
Hey,
we're good.
Real quick, let me just ask you this, because you were talking about baseball future season wins and overs, wins and losses, totals. One team in particular, whether it be from a book's perspective or from your own personal perspective, that I'm curious about is the Minnesota Twins. I'm looking at a number of like 80.5. And for a small market team, they got active with money, right? They go get Carlos Correa. They go get Sonny Gray. The everyday lineup looks as good as any in that division. Starting pitching a little bit shy, but they can relieve halfway decent. What do you make of the Twins? At 80.5 just seems a little bit low to me. They look like a 500 team.
I liked Minnesota last year, Rob, and I thought that they would challenge the White Sox for the division last year. And obviously last year went as bad as it could have. And now, like you said, they go and make the moves necessary, except for the pitching. The pitching's a little thin, which is why this number, I mean, will they go 500 or not? That's basically the bet. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they will go 500 myself. I think I'm in the minority. I think people are down on Minnesota, up on Detroit, and really up on the White Sox. You see what their number is. I mean, they're the third choice to win. Meanwhile, they just signed Johnny Cueto. So I don't know the White Sox are the clear favorite, but if you're signing Johnny Cueto to take a regular spot in the rotation right now, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. That might be a good thing for Minnesota's season win total over.
Absolutely.
Dave Sharapan. Dave, couple of quick things. My apologies. You did come on the show with an Expo hat on.
Got that too.
Nice.
I told you. I love Canada.
There's the Expo's logo, Dave.
It's the best.
Where is it?
Right there.
What
Don't
does it
move.
mean?
Right
What
there.
is it?
ELB is for the Expos something baseball. The owner had something, I forget. I don't know. I watched this thing.
It's one of the most interesting logos of all time, because if you look at it without the colors, you can see an M, but it actually stands for Eleanor Leora Bronfman, the name of the owner's eldest daughter, ELB. Anyway, Dave, how do you not bet the Jays to win the division? Honestly, I mean, plus 165. They are light years better than the Yankees, the Rays, and Boston, and Baltimore. I'm not even counting. I got to think that's the best future bet on the table.
Are they ready? Like, I mean, they're young kids. Are they ready?
Are they ready? They made it all the way to the wild card game last year, or just before.
I know.
They're
Anyway. their number one starter, Cy Young Award winner, is gone. Like, you just replace those innings, and you just, like, I don't know. That's the question.
You don't think that Bareas, Gausman, and Kikuchi can replace Robbie Ray's innings?
I'm worried about Gausman going to the National or going to the American League from the National League. That's the one I'm worried about. Seriously, that's the one I'm worried about. Manoah's going to be the best fourth starter or third starter in baseball. That kid is awesome. He's a West Virginia kid. He's awesome. He's going to be a bet on a lot, and I think like books won't know really to put that number where it should be. I think that'll be an April play. Keep an eye on him.
Robert?
Dave, let me move you to the NBA real quick here. Because, boy, what a journey it's been with NBA totals, right? We've come from the beginning of the season where, the make of the ball is different. Nobody can make any shots. We're seeing a whole bunch of unders. And the last 5 weeks, we've just seen these totals start to soar. And within the last 2 weeks, I mean, the daily push on these totals is crazy. 3, 4, 5, 10-point moves on totals. And it seems like every day I wake up looking at, or even if I look at the overnights, we're seeing far more to the north of 230 than what we saw for the first 2.5 months of the season. Let me just ask, how are bookmakers, they have to open with something, and these things are just getting pushed. I'm looking today at like the Timberwolves, who already 5-point move. There's a host of them across the scene here in NBA basketball. How are they handling these totals? Can they make them high enough? Because right now it seems like you could just play certain teams and get over every single night if you want.
No question. That's been so one of the issues with trying to do the overnights was always try to find the bottom, right? So you if you make it 235, okay, let's get the bet under. So I know where I have to go now to get the bet under. Well, now you put 235 and they play you over right away. And you're like, all right, geez, go to 237. Oh, they're playing it again. Wait a second, 239.5. What's the number I got to get an under bet? It's been crazy to see, because you're right. Back in January, even in February, right before the All-Star game, we're starting to see 211s be regular, 214.5s, 217.5s. And certain teams are still under teams, but for the most part, the league became an over league right then. And when you see two bad teams playing, I mean, this week you might as well cue the circus music, Vino. There's no book in the NBA, bet the NBA. You take your betting life into your own hands here. There's a lot of things going on. You have no idea if anybody's playing defense, who's showing up, who's not. You see guys are going to play, they're not. The safest bet in basketball has been betting against the Lakers the last 2 weeks. It's been an absolute dream, and I hope that everybody has been on it. I've been tweeting about it, talking about it on every show I go on. That's been the best play. I can't wait for the playoffs to start. Today, you got to really pick and choose your spots. I think you got to find the games between at least two teams that have a meaningful reason to play. Otherwise, just find a game and bet the over.
Dave, we normally end the show at 12:45. We're going to keep going, if you don't mind, just for a few minutes. I want to talk Masters, and I want to get some hockey thoughts. Anything you're hearing or seeing betting-wise for the Masters?
Was up early to see Tiger come on and say he's going to play. I mean, he come on and said he's going to play. So there's all kind of Tiger props. I've been listening to people say they're going to bet Tiger to win. Tiger's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win.
No, how about miss the cut?
Well, that's an option as well. And I think books will all silently be rooting for that because everyone's going to bet him to make the cut.
Yeah.
Everyone that's talked about Tiger playing while he's been there has said he is fine. He's hitting the ball like he used to hit the ball, which is hard to believe, but it's Tiger Woods.
Please.
I'm telling you, that's what they're saying. As far as the rest of the stuff, we'll look at props and stuff today. There's always a hole-in-one prop, and there's always a hole-in-one at the Masters. So will there be a hole-in-one? Yes. Bet the yes. It's either on 16, it's on 7. I forget which. There's 6. 3 holes, not on 12.
6.
But there's opportunities.
I think hole 6.
Is it 6? Okay, it's either 6 or 7. Yeah. Whatever it is, that's a yes bet. And then after that, man, do we have a golf expert we can go to here with Wager Talk?
Yeah, we got Nick Borman joining us tomorrow. Not only is Nick a golf expert, Dave, but Nick is a PGA card carrying holder and got me my clubs for half price. Dave, Tiger is minus 138. 130. I know I need discounts. I know it's pathetic. Tiger is minus 138 to miss the cut, plus 100 to make the cut. I don't think there's a bet there. I don't see see much value on betting. Yeah.
No.
Plus, really. I want him to do well.
Well, that's the thing. Like in the book, for years, you have to sit there and pretend like you weren't rooting for him because the book needed against him. Every book in the world, BetMGM just reported yesterday that they get the most liability on any golfer to win the Masters is Tiger Woods, and he just announced today that he's actually going to play. So golf fans want to see him win. People bet him, and then, unless he actually wins. I mean, the cut bet is interesting because it's a different. It doesn't have the payout or the pizzazz, but people will bet that too.
Yeah. Dave, real quick, and then we got to let you run. I know you're a busy man. You got to go change uniforms. Are you seeing anything in hockey tonight? There's a big slate. I mean, I was looking at Edmonton. The New York Islanders just don't seem to want to die.
I know.
Anything you notice?
I noticed that gigantic line against your Maple Leafs. Can you believe that they're plus 150, plus 145 against
but
Florida?
It's right, Dave. It's right. And the reason is they've just come off of a massive win against Tampa Bay. That was last night. They just beat Boston as well. When you look at this, and let's say they were playing Detroit.
Okay.
It would be a really good spot to bet Detroit. No matter who they're playing, it's just not a good spot. We see it every year in the playoffs. The best teams do not sweep 4-0. It's really, really tough
Very true.
to keep the level of hockey that high for that long a period of time. It's what makes the NCAA March Madness tournament so great. You got to hit for 6 games in a row. Why are there upsets all the time? Because you don't hit for 6 games in a row. I think it's a real crappy spot for the Leafs. With that said, they get up for these games, man. There's a slight amount of value there.
I got to see who's playing goal. I mean, because Campbell was outstanding last night. I was watching it. He was so good
we got
last
Kellgren.
night.
Kellgren is in net, which is why I like the over.
Over, right. I was going to say, I like the over as well. And then I wouldn't touch the Leafs. So I saw the price and I thought maybe interesting, but no, I want Campbell in there. Run the hockey real quick. Columbus, Philadelphia, over. Ottawa, Montreal, over. Both of those. Rangers side. Minnesota, definitely like that side. Can't believe that line's coming back towards Nashville. I like Minnesota in the game. And then, yes, the Islanders are live, but the game under. That's going to do it for me.
Yes.
Back to you.
I like that. Dave Sharapan, everyone. Dave, I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother. We'll see you next Tuesday. Kick ass. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And guys, check him out on Twitter at Sportsbook Consig. No vowels in the sportsbook component of that. Rob Vino, we got our likes. It's time for the daily presidential address. All right, guys, I got 3 NHL plays for you tonight. All 3 of these plays I am betting. I also have a client play up in NHL. It is a 4% play. I absolutely love it. And just to give you perspective on what's going on with me in the NHL, I am on an 8-0, 25-6 run. 25-6. There are 31 days in every second month. I would have won 25 of those 31 days in hockey. I've made 68% ROI in hockey since December 1st. I'm in really, really good rhythm right now in hockey. Please head over to WagerTalk.com and grab my 4% play tonight in hockey. As for games that I am betting that are not my client play, I like Boston in regulation tonight. It looks like Marchand won't play, but it doesn't matter to me. Detroit just can't stop anybody right now. I mean, Pittsburgh put 11 up on this team. I got to believe Boston is in a race for their lives for home ice advantage against Toronto and Tampa Bay. I don't love the spot because they're on a back-to-back, but I just can't see Detroit keeping up with this Boston team. I like Colorado and Pittsburgh over the total. Dave Sharapan came on and said he likes it under. Last game was 3-2. However, there were over 70 shots in that game. I see a lot of speed and a lot of shots. I like over the total of 6. And then Nashville and Minnesota. I like over the total of 6 in this game as well. Nashville is an over machine. This team goes over almost every single game. They're real tough to keep off the scoreboard. Minnesota scores a ton, but they're playing incredible defense, which is why their games have gone under. But I got to believe Nashville's going to get us 2 tonight. I think we're going to see a 5-2, 4-2, 5-3 type of a game. Take the over. That's it. Rob Vino, baby. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for co-hosting. We'll see you on Friday. Please take us home.
Yeah, well, let me say this real quick, Prez. WagerTalk.com. I realize it's $2 Tuesday, but there are a pair of NBA best bets up and available from myself at WagerTalk.com right now. And real quick, for the remainder of this day, all of you listening, hopefully you come join me with our newest edition, J Money, on J Money's NBA show, 1:30 Eastern time for 10:30 Pacific. And also NBA Tip-Off, Joe Ranieri, and I think it's myself, Ski Profit, and Tony Mejia today. But again, 4:15 this afternoon Eastern time, 1:15 on the Pacific Coast. You can catch us on NBA Tip-Off. So join all the Wager Talk TV shows. Prez, glad to be with you today, buddy. Always fun. Thanks to the guests. Thanks to everybody.
Baseball is back, and both WagerTalk and Sports Memo have an amazing offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered from Thursday, April 7th, when 18 of the 30 MLB teams take part in opening day, to Thursday, August 4th, when the NFL Hall of Fame game kicks off in Canton, Ohio for less than $5 per day. To lock in your favorite WagerTalk expert through the start of NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000. But for a limited time, pay only $5.49, coming out to just $4.61 per day. This will include any plays released for MLB from opening day to August 4th, rest of the NBA and NHL regular seasons, entire playoffs and championship games, golf, UFC, soccer, and more. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you sign up, the more free days you'll get. This will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast as our first pitch to kickoff promotion ends on opening day. So lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of football season for the lowest